bottom over here. Good, 1.5 meter bottom over here.
My father's father had 2 brothers and a sister. His older sister, Hazel, had married a man named Jim Yunker, and he was involved in the bottling business early on, as early as 1906 in Indianapolis, and he sold flavors. He would have had grape, cream soda, blood orange, ginger ale. In 1915, he got the franchise for Coca-Cola in Indianapolis. So then we fast forward 20 years later to 1935, Jim Yunker approached my grandfather and his 2 brothers and said the franchises in Kokomo, Logansport, and Peru are available for sale, and you guys want this. Trust me, you want to get in the Coca-Cola business.
The Northeast isn't the traditional place for open-wheel Indy car racing in America, but that doesn't mean we can't give it a try. There's a place in the hills of Loudon, New Hampshire with a 1-mile asphalt loop. With so many intricacies and challenges, a victory here can feel like magic. No wonder why they call it, New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the Magic Mile. Tonight, for 150 circuits of this northeastern racing haven, the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series will run the Dallara IR18 IndyCar for their 2nd round of the season. Jason Brophy upset the masses last week, eking out a win in Florida as drivers saw the caution lights ignite in the final moments of the race. Tonight it's 150 laps, 150 miles right here on SimTV and the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Facebook page. Welcome everyone to our 2nd round of racing this season. Last week we ran it at Homestead Miami Speedway with Finian. We saw a massive upset. Jason Brophy got it done. This week the challengers are going to be tenfold just getting into the race because we only allow 26 to race. Well, there's 38 here trying to get one of those 26 spots.
Yeah, and guys are trying to put down their best times, and we're going to be sending quite a few guys home here currently 33 have put a time, but yeah, really looking forward to seeing how this race goes up. Philip Kraus currently on top of the charts.
So qualifying underway. We've had about 5 minutes left as a couple drivers are making their qualifying effort. Joe Branch, one of those many drivers trying to get in on the race. He's 26th right now. Brand new paint scheme on board. Coca-Cola on board this race car as he comes across the line. He's not going to improve, and he's already out, Finney, and outside the bubble. So I don't think he'll be able to qualify into the race. Tim Doyle out on track in this purple and white number 11 car, and we talk about qualifying being important. Well, tonight so many drivers are going to go home, drivers that we'd expect to be at the top of the board. Bradley Walters is below the cut line right now. This is going to be huge when we look at the season as a whole. If you want to compete for the championship, you're going to have to win pretty much, or at least get into all the races. Winning is a whole different story.
Yeah, currently Tim Doyle out on the track, putting times down. He's on his second lap here.
And into turn 3, talk about the magic mile fitting. It's a flat 1 mile racetrack. The speeds that you're carrying through these corners, though, absolutely absurd. As you see Tim Doyle, 169 coming out of turn number 4 across the line.
Oh.
And doesn't make it. So again, only 26 drivers will get to run tonight. Philip Kraus is currently the quickest of them. The last driver is John Downing. Joe Branch missed it by 42 thousandths of a second. But a lot of new names got in, and some of the drivers that we'd expect to be competing for the championship did not make it in. Andreas Ike still has yet to qualify, and this is a tense moment for him because he ran pretty well in the points last year. Of course, Tim Doyle in the number 11. That's huge for him to miss this race.
Yeah, it really is, and still waiting. There's one more guy waiting to put down a time. That's Andreas Ike sitting in the pits. I think he's waiting to go out. Still has a little bit of time left.
And John Downing would be the odd man out if he were to get in. And you see the configuration there, 4 turns around here, a 1 mile flat track. Last week we raced at a 1.5 mile banked oval at Homestead Miami Speedway, and that was an interesting race, Finian. But let's take a look at our point standings as they on the right-hand side of the screen. You see Jason Brophy, the current points leader, Chris Stouffer in second, Tim Doyle in third. That was a double points race. That was a very important round to win. And Brophy got the victory, so he's got a little bit of a bubble built up. Meanwhile, Andreas Ike's going to pull out onto the racetrack. Let's ride on board here for his warm-up and qualifying effort. Off into turn number 3, and he's going to start his time lap. He's got 2.5 minutes left to put down a couple times. He's going to have to beat a 22.933 and across the line for lap number 1 of his qualifying effort. 180 down into the corner. You're going to be running pretty much full downforce here tonight, Finney. I don't think there's any reason not to run as much wing as possible.
Yeah, you're going to want to keep your cornering speed up as much as possible because that's where you're going to be making up time, not so much on the straightaway. So you're definitely going to want that downforce to help you out.
Out of turn 4, Ike's going to come across the line. What's it going to be? A 22.765. That's going to be good enough to put him in the show. No, it's not. It's going to be just shy. It was actually a 22.781. But it
and he spins out of turn 2. He has no chance of improving.
And that's going to be it. John Downing's in, and Andreas Ike is out. Dramatic qualifying efforts here. Some other drivers still trying to get lap times in, but 26 drivers make the show. John Downing is the last of them. My apologies about the time. It was actually a 22.774 that had to be beat. It was a 22.781 that Ike ran, so he will not make it into our second week. Who knew that New Hampshire would be the track that everyone would struggle to qualify in? And I thought we'd have this issue last week in a Triple Crown race, but not so.
Yeah, definitely not so. You would expect the guys showing up for the big races as they do in real life, which in this series is the Triple Crown. Not so much at a short track like New Hampshire, but yeah, 38 guys in attendance here. 36 have a time. Perez and Carey are not in the server, so they won't have enough time to get back in. So we're pretty much looking at our lineup as everyone else, I think, has pretty much put their time in. And one guy of note who's actually made it into the show this time, didn't make it in last week, was Brendan Lichtenberg, qualified in 9th this race. Yeah, that was big, missing the Triple Crown. Yeah,
that was big for him, and he's won a couple races last season, so I'd expect that number 10 of Lichtenberg to be a threat tonight for sure. Lap times for the top 15 on the left-hand side of your screen. As we do that, let's also take a look on the right-hand side of our screen, our track conditions for tonight. Finney, the track temp is really hot, 120 degrees. How much are these drivers going to be fighting, and will it be oversteer or understeer that'll be the issue tonight?
I think it's going to be a little bit of oversteer, coming off some of these corners, considering how hot the temp is. But I think they're also going to be dealing with understeer when they're in behind each other. It's a very flat track, not a whole lot of banking to catch you. So you're going to have to be careful when you're in behind one another. And we're going to see, I think, quite a bit of we're going to see a decent amount of separation with these cars. But again, this is an open setup league, and I imagine these guys have their cars set up so they can deal with the dirty air. And I think really the guys who are going to be winning this, who are going to win this race and lead this race, are the guys who figured out the setup and how to manage the dirty air.
So drivers like Joe Branch, David Adams, Bradley Walters, Tim Doyle, Cohen Evans didn't make the race tonight. How important will this race be in the championship later this season? Nobody knows just yet, but a packed house here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for our second round of the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series. Let's take a look at our race information. 150 laps, 153.8 miles. This is going to be a very intense race. What about the racing line tonight? I think last week at Homestead we saw some multi-groove action. I would expect maybe the middle groove to be good here, but what about the high side? What about the low side? Where do you think cars are going to escape to try to get some grip?
I think definitely they're going to be going to the high side of the track to try to make it, try to get out of, run the high lane around. I don't think that inside lane, I think it's just the radius of the corners is too tight to really make any speed. They're going to lose so much momentum off the corner. I think that's where it's going to be key. So I think a lot of guys might migrate up to the wall, but who knows? You might see some guys play around with the low side at times just to, find where the speed is as the run goes on.
So let's roll through our starting lineup here tonight. On the front row, Philip Kraus in the number 19 is going to start alongside Joshua Chin, a multi-time winner from last season. That 93 rolls off on the outside of the first row.
Moving on back to row 2 again, Andrew Wood qualified in third. Great qualifying effort for him, and defending champion Adam Blocker in the 1 car. Going to be starting outside of him in 4th.
In row number 3, Henry Bennett, the 007 championship runner-up, alongside Tony Showen in the 31. He's got a lot of pace. Can he get it done tonight?
And behind them, Andrew Kinsella is going to be lining up on the inside lane in 7th. Next to him, Chad Simpson in the 42 will be lining up in 8th.
In 9th place, Brennan Lichtenberg missed out the race last week in Homestead, Miami. He's going to roll off in the 5th row tonight. Chris Stouffer in the 13 was a competitor for the win. Could have won it last week, but didn't. Rolls off 10th.
Back in 11th, we got Matt Polsky in the 12 car on the inside lane. And outside of him, Ray Kingsbury will be lining up in 12th.
13th place, Logan Simmons crashed out at Homestead last week. Going to try again to recover and get a finish this week. Jason Brophy, the upset winner last week at Homestead, Miami. Going to try to go 2 for 2 from 14th tonight.
Yeah, we'll see how he can try to defend this points lead. He's definitely got some pace in that machine. And behind them, Flynn Lazier in the 4 car lining up in 15th. And then next to him in 16th, we Riley Thompson in the 58th.
Frank Levick in the 77 Spark VR car. Simon Bryant in the 22, missing some of his teammates tonight. Rolls off 18th.
Back in behind him, Austin Espesky in 19th, lining up in the 777. Next to him, Dakota DeCienzo in the 43 and 20th.
21st, Joe Flanagan in the number 53, right alongside John Poole in the 27. Rolls off in 22nd.
Then in behind them, Clark Archer in the 29 will be lining up in 23rd. Next to him, Chris Cahoen in the 57, lining up in 24th.
And we're going to let the rest of those scroll along the bottom of your screen. Only one more row to talk about, Adam Crane and John Downing, but up towards the front of the field, it's time to go racing for the second race of the season. And of course, it's Philip Kraus at the front of the field, the number 19 car. And pace car pulls off the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series for round number 2 at the Magic Mile. Green flag flies, and we're racing in New Hampshire. Three wide for looks like about 7th or 8th place on the exit of turn 4. Lap 1 complete. No incidents. We'll keep rolling, but look at Kinsella on the bottom. That's Chad Simpson he's trying to get by, and they're side by side through 1 and 2. And again, I don't think we got multi-groove action this early in the race, so it's going to be a struggle for that middle groove. You see Kinsella get held up, and here comes Stouffer on the outside, that bright silver Adrenaline Motorsports car.
Yeah, and I think really a lot of guys are just trying to find the best place to can.
Oh, car in the fence.
Got a car on the wall.
Chris Stouffer in the 13. He's up in the wall and riding the fence, and he's going to almost come to a dead stop out of turn 4. And we stay green. But
that car, I think, has some massive damage to him. Yeah, he's damaged the steering on the handling of the car. I think he's going to have to retire. I think he's trying to find a place to retire off the track.
Yeah, and New Hampshire's very sensitive about that, so he's got to be careful where he pulls off, and looks like he'll do a pretty good job getting to the inside of the road course. We'll stay green. Caution flies anyway. And that's, told you, New Hampshire is a very sensitive racetrack when it comes to triggering yellows.
Yeah, well,
so at least we know where.
Yeah,
at least we know where it came from. So didn't see exactly how he got up into the fence, but might have just understeered up there. But let's go back and take a look at exactly how that happened. Things happen so quickly here, Finian, and he was right behind somebody. I think it was Kinsella. And he just go off into the corner and he just gets in a little bit too hot, gets up into the fence, and rides up on top of the safer barrier. Things happen very fast.
Yeah, that was a big mistake for him. Surprising to see him get into the wall like that. And unfortunately for him, he's going to end his night very early.
Up on top of the fence. And out early is the 13 of Chris Stoper. So, Philip Kraus out front. Track position is going to be important all night long, Finian. What about Joshua Chin in second? I mean, do you think that you're going to want to be leading this race at the end, or do you think draft's going to play a factor? Obviously, we know what happened last week, but, I mean, how much handling, how much control over your race do you have at a place like New Hampshire?
Honestly, you have a good amount. You have a decent amount of control. I think, again, really is going to be, dealing with the cars in front of you and just trying to place your car in relation to that, because you obviously don't want to be facing a whole lot of dirty air into the corner. You want to anticipate the car pushing up in the middle, and I think really that's where the drivers are going to see the best drivers who are able to counteract that and drive through the field and drive through that dirty air.
So Kraus continues to lead this race. Joshua Chin second, Wood third, Adam Blocker fourth, Shawan in fifth, Henry Bennett in sixth, and we have to look down only to fourth to find our reigning champion, Adam Blocker. Now, last week, Finian, late in the going, he made a pit stop. We kind of criticized him for it at the time. Didn't think it was going to be a great strategy call. It ended up being okay. Didn't end up to go up and win the race, but I think the cars that got tires at the end ended up doing better. Tires, what are their importance tonight? I mean, I think every time we come down, I expect them to take 4 tires, but your call on that, do you think track position or tires would be your consideration?
Honestly, I would probably go for track position. I think passing is going to be pretty tough tonight at a place like this. I think you're definitely going to want to try to prioritize your track position, but obviously when an opportunity presents itself, especially if you're further in the back of the field, I think definitely want to come down and try to take some tires.
Quick yellows here at New Hampshire, already 1 to green, and the restarts are a topic of discussion. A lot of checking up. A lot of drivers concerned about restarts last season. I don't think we had a big issue at Homestead last week, but again, there's a lot of cars. Look from up high above the racetrack. They stretch almost halfway around this place. So if you're at the back of the field, you're trying to kind of game this the best way you can, and you're going to try to force the penalty on yourself. I mean, you want to make them make a call, and you're going to get as aggressive as you can on the restart by trying to jump it a little bit. I mean, you don't want to get too egregious or they'll catch you, but there's definitely a special way to get these restarts down and be successful in doing so. So it looks like Joe Branch actually did make the field. Well, we have a lot of cars in the field tonight. 33 for what made the grid. I thought we were only down to 26, so I guess I missed an email somewhere. But but hey, Joe Branch is in here. That's a gorgeous looking race car, the Coca-Cola colors on it, as we get ready for the restart here.
Oh, there's a wreck in the background.
Yeah, I'll know.
Simon Bryant.
Yeah, Simon Bryant. And it was Dan Lee Ench involved in that, maybe? So right back, and that just extended the yellow. It didn't give us a full yellow flag period. It just extended it. But what happened here? I saw the pace car actually run into the wall. And this is another Spark VR car, I believe. Just all that checkup, I was just talking about it. That was Frank Levick in the 77. So they'll continue, but we only have 1 lap to go back green here. That was a dramatic change of events there.
Yeah, a lot of people got stacked up in turn 3.
So let's try that again.
And Frank Levick is just now getting off the pit road. He should be able to catch at least back into the field, but this field is extending, taking a majority of the track single file.
Yellow flag in hand. We'll see if we can get the green this time. Pace car's off and makes it to pit lane, so we will go back green. Philip Kraus in control of this race. Joshua Chin, Wood, Blocker, Shaw in your top 5. Green flag back in the air. Already cars popping out of line. 1 going defensive down the front straightaway. And it was, I believe, Flynn Lazier in the 4, Austin Espedy in the 777 behind him, trying to get around the outside.
Yeah, up in the front, Joshua Chin was trying to make a dive of Philip Kraus for the lead. Wasn't able to get the move done, but he's still going back at it in turn 3.
Just get some green flag laps under your belt, try to figure out what your car's doing. See Henry Bennett in line in 6th. He's got Andrew Kinsella all over him. Dakota DiCienzo and Chris Cahill in the 57. They're nose to tail for 14th and 15th. Deeper in the field, there's Charles Ante in the 26 on the bottom of Ray Kingsbury in the 25 car. Got involved in some incidents last week. None really his doing. Just got kind of put in a bad situation. Some netcode incidents, but Kingsbury tonight running 18th after starting in 12th. So a couple positions dropped early in the going here.
And a battle between Joe Finnegan and John Bull off of turn 2, almost 3 wide for a second.
Yeah, Flanagan on the outside. He's completed the pass. That's John Poole slowing. And maybe just getting himself out of a bad situation. This is way too early to be putting yourself in a bad spot. Speaking of bad spot, Joshua Chin put himself there, lost a couple spots. Wood and Blocker got through for 2nd and 3rd. A big mess of cars. About for 12th place down the back straightaway. The 777, Pavelski in the 12, Cahill in the 57. And Flynn Lazier also in the middle of this mix.
On the inside of his bestie, and I think really that inside lane is probably one of the worst places to be. The outside, and you saw was able to roll around that outside.
Up in front of them, you see Brennan Lichtenberg in that number 10, and he's got to make up for lost time after missing the race last week. Tonight, he started in 9th. He hasn't gone anywhere, but he's got 2 drivers underneath him right now, Brophy and Lazier, trying to take those spots away, and Lichtenberg's got a lot of ground to make up after missing a double points event, so tonight, he's got to capitalize on a good run.
Yeah, and really, again, like you said, he missed out a couple points, only single car points, so even if he wins, he's still going to be behind a lot of guys from last week.
When Lazier and Austin Espedy real tight out of turn 4, and Lazier will take the spot away, slot back in line, and Austin will have to hang tight for now. Kraus has led every lap so far. Everyone kind of getting single filed out, trying to just figure out their race cars right now. What adjustments do you want to make? Is it too early in this race to make adjustments, or are you going to kind of let the racetrack come to you maybe?
I think this is exactly the time you want to make adjustments, especially when you're, especially these guys that are riding in traffic here. See how the car's responding, especially with the connect times at the moment. It's going to be, slightly different than practicing his putter right now that it wasn't practiced by about almost 10 degrees. So I think guys are going to be trying to make some adjustments to get their car handling to where they like the caution out.
Last week's winner, Jason Brophy, he's all torn up at the exit of turn 2.
And that's rough. That's really rough after winning the race last week on top of the world. Was running in 10th in this race.
Drama for our round 1 winner was behind Lichtenberg, just got loose out of turn 2. And I think Austin Espedy might have gotten a piece of that, but otherwise was a single car incident. So the 88 car going to be severely damaged early in the race. I don't think it's unfixable, but it's certainly not going to be as good as it was before. So our 2nd caution of the night, out at lap number 17. So
yeah, no,
we'll see.
Don't think that car is going to be fixable for him.
Yeah, I don't know. Would you think we're going to see pit stops here? It looks like we're going to drag most drivers to pit lane, but you see Joshua Chin staying out. What would be your call right now?
Honestly, at this point, I would follow the herd, and nearly every single driver except Joshua Chin is going down to the pits.
So field into pit lane now on our lap number 17 caution. Receiving service, and a little bit robotic right now in Discord. The connection is not showing super great. I'm not sure if that's something I can work on, but I'm going to take a moment to try, so we'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back for the restart. Okay, so we just switched our Discord server from US East to US Central, and even though we're in very much in New York State, I guess the East server's having an issue right now, so that should fix the robot Finian you guys were all hearing. So, Joshua Chin is in the lead here, Finian, and he is the only driver to have not made a pit stop so far. Your thoughts on this call, and how quickly do you think he's going to go backwards?
Joshua Chin? Honestly, I think he can remain up there. I think, he's shown that he's had the pace. He was up there fighting for second, I think, drifted back to fourth place on the restart. And again, we haven't had a really long green flag run, so I think he'll be able to stay up there for quite a bit here, unless we do get a really long green flag run. But again, I think the leader probably in one of the best spots, and we'll have to see how he can do from there. Andreas Ike and guys like Frank Levick behind him, I don't think they have the pace to get around him, but definitely Philip Krauts is a guy I'll keep my eye on to get back in the lead.
So Jason Brophy, it looks like that car is still in pit lane, and I don't know if he's getting it repaired. He's not in the race car right now. That could be a retirement, but either way, it's not going to be a race-winning race car, so it will not be 2 for 2 for the driver of last week's winning race car. So at the front of the field is Joshua Chin, the purple number 93, and he was a road course king last year, Finian, won at Mid-Ohio, or almost won at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, ended up getting it done at Sebring, and also did really well. Did he win it at Road America, or did Blocker get that one?
Road America, I believe he did win. Let me double check that.
He ran really well if he didn't win. I feel like it was Blocker that won that for some reason, but I could be wrong about that. But either way, Joshua Chin was a road course legend last year. I'm curious to see if the Oval program has come a little ways this season for his team. And leading right now, I'd say it's going okay, although pit stops have put him up here. We'll see if he can stay.
It was Blocker that won.
Yeah.
He won at Auto Club. I think that might be what we're thinking.
Ah, okay, so the big oval stuff he did all right up towards the end of the season. Coming back to our third restart of the night, we're still 31 cars strong on the racetrack after 33 started this event. And we're going to go back green here. Lap number 21 of 150 in the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series. Green flag back in the air, and Joshua Chin fires off. And look at Kinsella attacking Bennett down into turn 1.
Yeah, and Andreas got a really poor start at back up second, third, and fourth. And they're now all fighting for that spot. There you see already immediately Philip Krause inside his teammate. Imagine this is not going to be too much of a fight here, or maybe it is.
Yeah, so Levick, remember, he was actually torn up in that wreck coming to the previous restart. So he got that wing fixed and stayed out of this last caution. He's up to third place, and it doesn't seem like it's affecting him at all. So running inside the top 5 has Krause on the bottom trying to get the spot away and Blocker behind him. So we'll get a bit of a hornet's nest for third place. Could get a bit dicey.
Yeah, definitely going to be a bit dicey, especially trying to make it work on the inside. But, Blocker here is going to go to the inside to make it try.
Tense moments here. Very easy for things to go wrong very quickly at this racetrack, especially if the speeds we're pulling. And this is about a full 7 or 8 seconds faster than the NASCAR Cup cars run here. So things happen quickly at New Hampshire.
Indeed they do. Andrew Wood also sitting in behind this pack here. A great battle at the front of the field. Blocker trying to get around Levick as well.
Oh, man. These guys are freaking me out just a little bit this early in the race, fighting this hard, especially with teammates. If I'm Levick, I'd probably roll over and let Krause on by, because now it looks like Blocker tried to roll the bottom but can't get the car turned in down there, and the Spark VR teammates will roll around the outside and can keep those spots for now.
Yeah, you can just see how hard it is to make that inside lane work, but Blocker big dive into 30.
Yeah, again, this is an exercise in frustration. There's no rubber down there yet. The racetrack doesn't have enough heat to make the tires stick to the pavement, so struggling to get by these two on the bottom of the racetrack, even though he might be faster.
Meanwhile, Joshua Chin is completely checked out. He's already straight away ahead of these guys.
I think that kind of answers our question of whether or not tires are going to be super important. It was only a 20-lap or so run, but clearly they don't matter a whole lot. Oh, I see a car slow. David Adams has reset back to the pits with big damage on his 00. This was at the exit of turn 2. Same thing we saw happen to Brophy. And he gets the inside wall. That'll probably be a retirement for the 00 as well.
Yeah, turn 2 definitely seems to be a struggle. I saw some drivers struggling with it in practice coming out of that corner. Just getting loose, and it seems to still be a struggle, especially after the run goes on.
So Krause got by the 77. Blocker sends it deep into turn 1 to try to clear the 77. Side by side into turn 2. No one wins that battle just yet.
He's going to make a big dive down on Levick. If he can slide up, you can clear the spot. Indeed, he will.
And now Levick's got Andrew Wood closing from behind. Good battle there, complete. Matt Pavelski in the number 12 and Chris Cahill in the 57. This is for 14th place. Very shiny looking, kind of candy apple red paint on this Broken Arrow car. And Cahill behind. Heisinckveld on board this car this week.
Yeah, and in general, there's some fantastic paint schemes on the grid here. A lot of guys have some nice reflective schemes. And the map change has really, really done wonders for the way these paint schemes and these cars look. Meanwhile, battle for second, Andreas Ike and Kraus going at it.
And Kraus charging through the field on new tires, going to get by Andreas Ike. And squeeze around. Oh, no, no contact there between those two. I thought he was almost had him clear, but didn't. And a bit of rubbing here. No fenders to play with in an Indy car, so that's wheel-to-wheel contact and not done yet.
Yeah, it looks like both of them got okay out of that for the most part, but I'm sure Kraus is not too happy with that. He's going to make a dive to the inside again. Ike's still holding him honest on the outside.
Out of turn 4, still side by side. The 00 has returned to the racetrack. David Adams. Charles Ante has hit pit lane with unknown issues. Contact again! Oh. And this time, Ike goes hard into the fence, and caution is out. He's up into the catch fence and barrel rolling through turns 1 and 2. Oh, he gets drilled again! And slides down on the roll hoop. Getting tagged. Another car. Logan Simmons drives in there way too fast, Finian, and clobbers an already turtled 76. That was, if there was an example of exactly how not to react to a car crashing, that would be it for a couple of those drivers there. But unfortunately for the 76 of Ike, was running in second place and kind of just got run into here. Let's take a look. Up above. Did he turn down, or did the 19 come up? Oh, he might have turned down. I don't know, Finian. I can't totally place that on Kraus.
No, I'm leaning more towards Ike. It looks like Kraus kind of held his line, in my opinion, at least.
Someone absolutely clobbered Ike after he was kind of upside down already.
That was David Adams.
It was David Adams, so here's a look at him kind of bouncing down the racetrack. And the 00 kind of offline. And you see another one of the Sadie Sim Autosport cars. And then Logan Simmons from a long ways back. I mean, this is far after the caution has been out. Just drives in here and completely unsighted, just drives into the already prone 76. And that's just, frankly, that's kind of unexcusable there. At that point, the caution's been out for that long. You shouldn't be entering an accident zone too fast to miss the car that's prone. So that was a bit disappointing, but for Simmons, it's kind of self-penalizing. He's 29th and out of the race.
Yeah, and under that caution period, it looks like three drivers have stayed out. Henry Bennett, Andrew Cattell, and Adam Blocker, coincidentally old teammates. Yeah,
so the Broken Arrow car is going to stay up toward, the Adrenal Motorsports car is going to stay up towards the front. And try to play some strategy here. Ray Kingsbury, the lead Spark VR car now. And running in P5. And again, Kingsbury started the night in 12th place, so a good climb forward for him. Matt Pavelski behind him in the 12. I don't believe he was in the race last week. He might have been. But 11th to 6th early and looking really good in that Candy Apple Red car.
I don't have him making a start, so I believe this is his first start tonight. So far, really good.
Another look at our points after Homestead last week.
I was just about to say, you're going to want to pull that up because, oddly enough, our first two drivers have had horrible nights so far, both of them DNFing very early on. And Tim Doyle, too, not having the best of nights after starting back in 30. He was the last car to start this event.
Yeah, and he's going to miss it, so at least he's in. Again, this is a... this is a long way forward. We got a lot of racing left to do, but this is not what he really wants to deal with tonight. He'd much rather be up in the top 5 or 10 or so. So 1 lap to green here. We'll get restarted here shortly. Adam Blocker is in control of this race. Kinsella, Bennett, Lichtenberg, Kingsbury, your top 5.
this starts going to be interesting here with these guys that stayed out here now. I think they're going to definitely stay up there. While we've seen pretty much that the tires don't entirely matter a whole lot, at least with the relatively low amount of laps we've had greens so far in this race. So I expect them to stay there. I think Chen and the guys in behind him are going to have some trouble working through this these guys that stayed up.
The Blocker, again, our reigning champion of this series. And it doesn't come lightly. He won a handful of races at all sorts of different kinds of racetracks. And again, a 1 mile flat track is typically kind of scary for IndyCar racing because of how challenging it can be to pass here. But so far, we've seen a little bit of rough and tumble racing and kind of elbows out as these drivers get restarted. Green flag back in the air, lap number 36. Third place, Henry Bennett has Lichtenberg all over his rear wing. Behind them farther, Joshua Chin on the bottom of Pavelski into turn 3.
Yeah, Chin's going to use those fresh tires to his advantage, try to work through as many guys as possible. They said it was going to be taller. He's trying to get through as many cars as possible. Also, Philip Krausen behind him put pressure.
Kraus again fighting back after the contact between he and Andreas Eick that sent Eick into the catch fence. Kraus working 7th place right now into 6th, or trying to get to 6th. That's Joshua Chin in front of him. That would give him that P6 spot.
And Pavelski's not letting him get clear. He's still putting up a fight on that outside lane.
Oh, big slip.
Loose.
Yeah, big slip out of turn 2. Andrew Wood in the fence in front of him. He's going to dive off to the inside. But trouble for a moment for the 32 and for the 19. And Andrew Wood, I think he's going to have to hit pit lane here. And here he's going to stay out, but some big damage on the wing of that car.
Yeah, let's see if he can get back up to speed here. Not really sure what the extent of that damage.
Glenn Lazier in the number 4, running in 11th after starting 15th. And all over Tony Schowen in 10th. And Schowen's a little high in 3 and 4. Can't quite get down to the apex, and then let the 4 and the 42 of Chad Simpson on through.
And also Chris KO in behind, trying to make an opportunity out of this move.
The bottom of the racetrack to the inside of the 31, and drag race down the back straightaway into turn 3. And he's through.
And Lichtenberg trying to hold off a charging, that is, and I think Rick Kingsbury in behind him, as well as Joshua Chin. This is a hell of a battle.
Yeah, for 4th place right now, Lichtenberg, Chin, Kingsbury, 4, 5, 6. And here comes Chin to the bottom of the racetrack in turn 3. Going to turn down to the second groove, and Lichtenberg way up too high.
Yeah, and if anything, Henry Bennett's playing rear gunner for his teammates up ahead, trying to keep all these guys in behind him.
Oh, Kraus to the inside of Pavelski. They almost got together in turn 2 as well. The problem with this racetrack is too low, you don't have any grip. Too high, no grip. So the way to go is the middle of the racetrack. So everyone's fighting for that middle groove. And the problem with that is you end up kind of having cars coming together as they fight for that middle part of the racetrack.
Yeah, he's gotten past Henry Bennett on the outside, so he's actually made a lot better progress than I thought he would. And now sitting his sights on Kinsella and Blocker up ahead.
Bennett still under fire from these drivers behind him, Lichtenberg and Kingsbury. Bit of a clumsy downshift there. That car didn't like that maneuver.
There you see Ray Kingsbury try to get a wheel to the outside of Bennett off of turn 2, couldn't get it done. And you can see for these drivers, it's a lot of patience waiting for an opportunity.
Oh, big slide by Lichtenberg on the bottom. Wasn't able to hold the line, and Kingsbury also slips. That'll let Bennett get away momentarily, but the edge of grip here is so close to just crashing. I think we just saw a car in the background up in the fence. It's DC Enzo riding the wall out of turn 4, and he already exited the server trying to miss causing an accident. So for him, he'll bail, but another one bites the dust there in turn 4.
It looks like Ray Kingsbury has let Philip Krauss on by some teamwork right there. So Krauss in a faster car with fresher tires now going to have work at Lichtenberg and Bennett.
behind him. I see Pavelski. There's a whole bunch of red cars right now with Pavelski, Lazier, Levick, and Chad Simpson. And you could add Chris Cahill into this mix as well. This is all fighting for about 8th place.
Yeah, crowd still side by side with Lichtenberg up the road.
Ao down to the inside in turn 3. That's Frank Levick in the 77. Chad Simpson right in front of them. Almost to the 1/3 mark of this race.
Yeah, really trying to make that work. I think that's probably the lowest I've seen any of these cars here tonight. Most guys have been running that middle lane.
Big slide for Bradley Walters out of turn 2. Had a bit of a moment. Collects it behind Riley Thompson. And Thompson, another driver that has found success in other series, but really needs a little bit of luck in the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series. Running 16th right now after starting officially in 16th. So he has not gone anywhere or lost any spots, but just needs some luck and a little bit of speed tonight to help him climb up the order.
Yeah, that's really, you're going to need some luck and also need to have a lot of strategy to help yourself out too. Because again, very hard to pass here. These teams, I mean, giving it their best, but still haven't moved a whole lot.
Caution. Andrew Wood in the 32, I believe. Crashed.
Yeah, and we saw him got into the wall early on the race and had a damaged car. This is actually a blocker was also near him at the time of the accident as well. Oh!
Right in front of Adam Blocker as the lead. Oh, Blocker turned him!
Yeah.
And he'll stay. I mean, no other damage there, but that, I know he's a lap down Carfany, but he's got every right to be there.
Yeah, I think it was a miscommunication. I think on entry, I think he thought Wood was gonna run a much higher line.
Which is fair, but at the same time, I mean,
well, again, at the speed, I think he made a call. Unfortunately, it was a wrong one.
Right. Yeah, just drives off in there and just gets into the 32, sends them around. So caution out for the 3rd time tonight. We're gonna jump to break momentarily. We'll be right back. Hang with us. Lap number 52, pit stops have just completed, and Adam Blocker comes out, I believe the first driver that first driver out of the pits, rather. There were 3 cars that did not come down pit lane: Joshua Chin, Tony Showen, and Caleb Weekly. So Chin will stay out and get some track position. Showen as well as Caleb Weekly in the number 96. We started in 31st, finishing up to 3rd, so he's going to stay out again. So what do you think about this? We're running so far towards the rear up front. Do you think this is a hazard, or do you think this is a good strategy call?
Honestly, I think for a driver of his speed, I'm going to sound like I'm making fun of him here. I think, I don't know, because he's been running more towards in the back of the field. I think as a driver, you kind of need to realize, you know, especially too with the setups, because I just don't think his setup is on par with some of the guys that have been running in the front. So unless he's able to keep up with the guys that have been running up here, he might be a bit of a hazard. As some of the faster guys like Blocker, Kinsella, and Bennett, because they're not going to wait to move over. They're going to, as soon as he's given an opportunity, they're going to be all over it. So this could be dangerous for some of these guys.
So if you're anybody, I wouldn't be so concerned about the drivers in his immediate vicinity. I wouldn't worry about Blocker or Kinsella or Bennett. I worry about the cars that are 4 or 5 spots behind that can't exactly see what's going on in the restart. If I'm Philip Krauss, if I'm Kingsbury, if I'm Lazier, I'm paying attention as much as I can up the road because I see this car up there that I'm not familiar with, and knowing the drivers around you is so incredibly important because you kind of keep a mental notebook on drivers, and you do this in official racing or league racing, Finian, within the iRacing service, that you keep a mental notebook, and if there's someone up in front of you that you're not aware of, you need to keep an eye on them just in case something doesn't go the way you expect it to.
Yeah, we'll see how this strategy call is going to play out for Caleb Weekly. He's got 1 to green here, so it's Chin, Chow, and Weekly on older tires, Blocker, everyone else on fresher ones.
Yeah, 21 lap old tires, and it didn't really seem to slow Joshua Chin down a whole lot when he pulled the strategy earlier. I just wonder how much it's going to make a difference now, maybe if the track is rubbered in at all, if that's changed the characteristics of the pavement. Not really sure. Chin's led 18 laps tonight. His best time of 23.208. There's 159 miles an hour average around NHMS tonight. We're going to ride on board with him for the restart. Great launch by the 93. And you see Adam Blocker already pull out a line to the inside of Caleb Weekly as they head down into turn 1. And looks like he'll almost have that pass complete. And he does.
And he's also going to get on by as well. Like I said, these guys not wasting any time immediately going to the inside.
Henry Bennett now, Brendan Lichtenberg, Philip Kraus all tucked in behind the 96. Also have to watch out for the arrow wash. Oh, you see Lichtenberg late move to the inside of Bennett. He'll get to the inside and pull along the yellow line. And looks like Philip Kraus sizing up these cars too.
Yeah, this is really where you were talking about patience earlier, as these guys are going to go 3 wide for a second off of turn 4 and 3 wide again on the front straightaway.
And look at Flynn Lazier charging to the inside of Ray Kingsbury, who I think backed out of this because I think he saw and recognized something bad was about to happen. And Lazier a bit loose out of turn 2, and now Kingsbury's going to have to try to find a way through.
Yeah, better safe than sorry in some of these scenarios, because again, in this car, once you're pretty much wrecked, you're going to be done for the night.
These are not very sturdy race cars when they get involved in wrecks because of their open wheel nature. So Kingsbury's on through. Now Chad Simpson, Pavelski in behind the number 96, that bright green GoDaddy sponsored car.
And Chowan's kind of also facing the same fate. He's being passed by all these guys on fresher rubber. Lichtenberg's gone on by. There goes Bennett. There goes Kraus as well.
Chad Simpson clears Caleb Weekly. Pavelski now right behind the number 96. Joe Flanagan in the 53. And this is always tense moments when you're working through cars like this. But we're past the 1/3 of the way mark. I think you have a general idea of how your car is going to handle for the rest of the race. Some drivers have already probably made some adjustments to their weight jacket or their tire pressure just to try to get their cars to rotate better, especially on the bottom, because I think that's where some of the best passes have been made tonight, is on the bottom. You see a big slip, though, by Pavelski on a turn 2, a stack up as everyone jumps on the binders to try to miss him.
Yeah, and everyone did a great job avoiding it, because you got to have the reaction time to avoid some stuff like that. Levick going to the inside of KO.
Riley Thompson is clawed one spot away from his original starting position. Now set to sights on Kehoe, Pavelski, and Caleb Weekly. And you smell some blood in the water up in front.
Speaking of the front of the field, now that a lot of them have been sorted out, now it's Blocker now trying to chase down Joshua Chin. And I think honestly these are probably two of the fastest guys in the race at the moment.
Yeah, last time by ran almost identical lap times, a 23.408 to a 23.409. That time through Chin was slightly quicker up at the front of the field, but the clean air is certainly going to help that. Philip Kraus kind of hounding Henry Bennett here. And Kraus, a new addition to the race team, and was quite quick last week. And I would certainly say a championship contender. And take a look at the point standings. He's 8th right now coming into the night.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if he's going to be the guy that's essentially leading this team. He's done a phenomenal job in his first two starts last week and also so far this race. Currently running, he pretty much hasn't dropped outside of the top 10.
Caleb Weekly's got a bit of a horde behind him now. John Downing pokes out to the inside. Joe Branch in the Coca-Cola car. John Poole in the orange and blue machine. Bradley Walters in behind in the number 56. And you see how quickly Caleb has dropped from restarting up in the side of the top 5 all the way down to now about 20th place in only a couple laps. So that strategy didn't quite work out for him.
Ooh, and a big second in behind John Poole and Bradley Walters trying to find their way by.
Through turns 3 and 4, Weekly's going to drop another spot. Here comes Poole. Kind of the orange, it looks like a Hot Wheels car, this thing. And John Poole, very successful in the Fuel IndyCar Series last season. Got Splash and Go graphics on the side of this race car. From 22nd to 19th, progress has been slow, but something tells me he's holding back right now and just waiting for more opportunity to claw his way forward.
Update, we've lost Tim Doyle from the race.
Yeah, again, we thought he wasn't going to make it in, so the fact that he was even in the race, to me, is impressive. But again, 26th place out. I'm not exactly sure what the reason was, but not going to be a good result for him tonight. No, internet? Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate for him. So that means the top 3 in points, all of them have had horrible nights so far.
Yeah, it's Riley Thompson. Right behind him is Shawan and Levick. This is a battle for 14th on the racetrack. Adam Crane in the number 6. He's all over Caleb Weekly, but he's been stuck behind him for a little bit now. He's got Clark Archer in behind him, as well as, I think that's a 00 of David Adams, I believe. Yes, it is. But Adams is now 4 laps down with the crash damage he had from earlier.
Yeah, at this point, he's just trying to pick up, a lot of these guys that are, getting disconnected from it and crashing out. He's trying to pick up as many spots as he can.
Up in front, no changes. Joshua Chin continues to lead the way. He's led 34 laps of the 70 that we've run so far, so about half the laps we've run. And as he crosses the line, it'll be 35 of 70 that we've completed. And within 5 laps, it'll be our halfway point. And then it'll be about a 30-minute run to the end here, if everything goes green from here. So I think we've kind of gotten most of the yellows out of the way. So you have to start readjusting your strategy to deal with longer green flag runs, and how do you adjust your car to compensate for that?
Yeah, I think really it's just going to be, hoping, not hoping, but also just making small adjustments over the course of the run once these tires start to fade out. And again, also dealing with some traffic as well, especially for the leaders too. A lot of them are separated out at the moment, so they're in fairly clean air for the most part. But then they're going to start catching up on lap cars at about half a lap. And they're definitely getting there, so I think working through that's going to be a big challenge for them.
Joe Branch in the number 28 passes John Poole and sets the sights on Bradley Walters, and he's also got John Downing, Walters' teammate, in front. And we didn't really get a good look at this paint scheme earlier during qualifying, but man, this car is pretty. You got Coca-Cola of Kokomo on the nose of that car, and kind of I would call that a satin finish on the side of this machine. It is a good-looking race car. I've always thought Coca-Cola colors in particular look really good, and on a race car this sleek, it's just a beautiful looking paint.
Yeah, he's done fairly decent so far. Started in 28, is up into 19. I'm sure he's hoping for some motorsports, more spots before this night is over.
He's hoping for some motorsports? Yeah. I'm hoping for some motorsports too, Finian. It's okay. Kraus in 6th. Well, also, take a look from up above. The clouds that have come over this speedway. Take a look at our track conditions. Our track temp originally was 120. It's 111 right now, so it's dropped 10 degrees. That's going to grip up the racetrack just a touch as the day goes on.
Yeah, the funny thing, too, is that the session is set to be mostly cloudy. You have not yet to see a cloud actually come over the racetrack yet this race. Well, here it is as we were completing halfway.
So the 2 leaders running almost identical lap times. No changes there. We can go a little bit deeper in the field. There's Tony Shawan and Frank Levick. This is one of the closer battles on the racetrack. Even behind them, Bradley Walters and John Poole. This little battle for 16th on back is also quite tight. Reached the halfway point, lap number 76 of 150 here in the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series from the Magic Mile, our second round of the season. How about this fight? Chris Cahoe, Chad Simpson, and Joe Flanagan for 9th.
Yeah, and Chris Cahoe also solid day for him. Started in 24th up into 10th place, and still looking like that car is capable of climbing further up the order. He's got Ray Kingsbury and Flynn Lazier ahead of him.
And Kingsbury again, 12th to 8th. His progress today has been slow but steady. And in terms of Spark VR as a whole, right now their front runners are running in 6th, 7th, 8th, and 10th right now. So that team has a pretty good stranglehold on the top 10 at the moment, at least the back half of it. Chad Simpson under attack from Flanagan into turn 1. Flanagan's going to make the hard left to the bottom of the racetrack and can't quite complete. Riley Thompson and Pavelski for 12th on the back straightaway.
Thompson trying to build up a run on Pavelski, and we've seen these guys are really, especially now with these tires too, now we're kind of seeing more of the follow the leader kind of style that you typically see at these kind of tracks. Once the tires start to wear, it becomes significantly harder to pass.
I think everyone expected it to be difficult to pass tonight. I think early in the race with the kind of couple yellows that we had, it kind of masked some of the aerodynamic issues, but once you get green, it's just physics, Vinny. And even though these cars have smaller wings than they used to have, it's still very much a challenge to make passes at a track this small and with this much speed through the corners. So there's a lot of challenges, but some of them can be kind of fixed on pit lane. You can change your car a little bit to be better handling in certain conditions, but then you get free of cars and you might not handle the same way. So you're always fighting something in these race cars. Adam Blocker has just nibbled away at the lead that Joshua Chin has. It's down to 1.3 seconds. It was at 1.1.5.
Yeah, I think especially too as Chin's caught Caleb Weekly now, trying to put him a lap down. So, and also he's got a few lap cars up ahead of him, so he's starting to get into a decent amount of traffic. And we'll see if Blocker can try to capitalize.
Chin's going to dive to the inside, and again, that was a car, Caleb Weekly, that was a car that started up inside the top 5 on this most recent restart. How far away has he gone? He's now lapped down in 20 seconds, so that's how quickly things can change over the course of 15 to 20 minutes. Philip Kraus in the background all over Henry Bennett, going to dive off to the inside, trying to get out of the mirrors of the 007. Trying to be a bit creative behind the wheel, but not able to get the 007 to falter.
This is a fight for 5th position between these two drivers, but as you've seen, I think he's gonna try to build it. And at this point, you pretty much all you can do is just try to build up a run and then make a pass at the end of the straightaway. That's what a lot of these drivers are trying to do.
So let's talk about pit stops, Finney. And when do you think you're going to see drivers make that last run to pit road? Closer to lap 100 or shortly? Because we've run 53 laps, or at least Joshua Chin has run 53 laps, and most of the rest of the field's run 35. So I would expect the next 10, 15 laps, but what's your call?
Yeah, I see a lot of these guys going to around lap 100 and then finally coming into the pit. So actually, some of these guys might come in. Actually, no, what I was saying is right. I think we might see them go to 100. And then they can kind of cut this up into 2 nice, evenly stints. I'm not sure what Joshua Chin's going to have in mind. I mean, I would change it or come into the pits now since it's a caution.
Oh, it's Ray Kingsbury upside down in turn 4. And he's out of the race, Finney. And what a terrible way for his race to end tonight.
Yeah, and after running so well.
Oh, he got turned.
Oh.
And rides up on top of the safer barrier. He got turned, I believe that was off the bumper of Cahoe, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
And he just gets flat out wrecked here.
Oh, on my screen, I have a massive amount of netcode.
Yeah. Again, it's the prediction code that allows this sim to function as is. Isn't always perfect. And it was a couple feet there, Finian, but last week it bit Kingsbury from the other end. He ended up getting into somebody with... Actually, no, he got it... that wasn't... Correct me. It was Riley Thompson last week that I think got into Ray Kingsbury, not the other way around.
Yes.
And he's going to end up with the same fate tonight, getting wrecked out by Netcode. Not a way he wants to start his season.
No, definitely not.
Well, that makes our pitting question very easy. Can we go to the end from here? Or do you think we'll see pit stops after this?
I mean, Josh Pachin, he went, what, almost 53 laps?
Yeah,
but that was with another caution, so...
I would say...
I think we might be able to.
It's not that long to the end here. I mean, again, it's only, you know, what, 60, 70 miles? So this should be pretty easy, I would think, to make it from here.
Oh, speaking of Josh Pachin, he's sitting in the box. Did he get a penalty?
Could be. And the leader going to drop all the way to the back of the field here. Unknown reasons why.
Yeah, I'm trying to diagnose what on earth happened to him.
Oh, he was out of the race car for a moment, Finian. I don't know if that was a cause or a reaction, but for a moment he was out of the car.
Maybe trying to fix something?
Its engine's off. No power in this car right now.
Well, he's got to go soon because here comes pace car.
Wow, this is dramatic.
3, 2, 1, and Joshua Chin will go a lap.
Wow.
down.
So what was one of our leaders, one of our most laps led tonight? He's stuck in the pits with no power in that car. So I said how quickly things can change. A driver that I thought could have gone on to win this race is now sitting dead in pit lane.
Yeah, I imagine he's probably, from the looks of it, I imagine he's probably dealing with issues IRL.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, engine's off. That's not something that you typically see. I mean, I don't think a driver. I don't know. It's something's funky going on. I guess we'll have to talk to him later.
Yeah. So apparently he's having some problems. Ray Kingser is trying to help him out. In the text chat, he put, "Nope, I can't get the starter." So the car's not firing back up on him.
If he goes into the options, he can set it to auto start. But oh, you know what? Well, these cars don't. These cars.
Well, no, in your pit box, you're able to start it from in your pit box.
Right.
You're able to start it. So
he stalled the car, and he's gonna have to recover it.
He's left the server now. I think he's gonna try to rejoin in, but it's killed him.
Well, I don't know. I mean, can't you set the car in the options to automatically restart the engine? And I think that works even if you have. Even in the IndyCar, I'm fairly certain. I think it's just it's the hardcore mode of if you turn anti-stall off. Actually, you can't even do that in this car. It automatically anti-stalls. So he must have done something funky with the pedals when he got to the pit box, because this car, whether, however your settings are done, it doesn't matter. This car does have anti-stall assist. And he must have done something with the pedals that allowed it to stall and can't get the thing refired.
Yeah, I'm seeing him coming into his stall. I'm looking at his replay. It's really weird. So he came into a stall, he stopped completely, and then after he came to a stop, the car stalled. Okay, he actually also posted in general here. He gave me.
All right, green flag back in the air, lap number 92. While Finian investigates the stalling of our most recent leader, Adam Blocker, the reigning champion, fires back off in control of this race.
Yeah, so what he's telling me, he's saying as soon as he got into the pit box, the car stalled. Just shut off.
Wow.
And it won't refire, so that's really unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
Takes him out of the race.
Well, I mean, electronics aren't perfect, that's for sure, and I'm sure this has happened more than once in the real world, so I guess iRacing even goes to that level of simulation, Finian, frustratingly sometimes. But he's back out on the racetrack now, and he'll be 4 laps down and out of contention to win. Oh, car spinning in turn 4, and it's Matt Pavelski tumbling in turn 4. Caution back out. And gets hit by, I believe that was Danley Ench. Nope, it was Andrew Wood that drove up underneath them. And looks like I believe our 6th caution of the night comes out. And let's take a look. On the outside of Joe Branch into turn 3, just drives in too hard. And the back end just steps out, Finian gets into the fence and tumbles up and over. What a dramatic ride that was.
Yeah.
Wow. and just drove in too deep. And the back end just stepped out, just maybe wasn't running quite enough rear downforce, or maybe it was a brake bias thing, but turned it around backwards and climbed up the wall. This is a crazy accident. Roll hoop first into the fence and bouncing down.
Yeah, I think also him too. I'm looking at it too. He was in behind Riley Thompson, so was already losing downforce in behind another car. So it's a million different things that go on at the same time. And unfortunately, all those things led to him losing grip.
Yeah. Wow, dramatic accident here, and these accidents in this car are rarely boring. They're usually very exciting to watch.
Not in a good way, I guess, for the driver.
Exciting can be dangerous.
Yeah. Well, that is motorsports in general.
So Blocker continues to lead the race, and he has led 26 laps. Joshua Chin, who had his most recent issues stalling in pit lane, has led 53. So the driver who has led the most laps so far is not going to be able to win this race tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, definitely a tough pill to swallow for Chin after doing so well. Had a race-winning car under him.
How about Brendan Lichtenberg, though? I mean, he missed the race last week. Wasn't able to compete. Didn't score any points. Comes into tonight, 9th, and here he is running 3rd with just over 50 laps to go. This is a driver that could sneak out a victory. Remember, he won at Gateway last season. He's got the short oval game down. This is a good opportunity for him to sneak in a victory after missing a very big race last week.
Yeah, I think he's going to definitely want to do the best he can to try to make up for that and get himself back into this point picture. Because, again, he's not even on the board on the standings, and he's definitely going to be after tonight. Just really a matter of where is he going to be if he can keep this up. But even, I think, a solid top 5, top 3 would be a victory in his books. Yeah,
and again, double points last week, but for Jason Brophy, who had the most points of anybody, he's going to be scored 32nd. Okay, thank you. I tried to mute my mic on, but I wasn't able to get to it, so I apologize for people that had to listen to that. So take a look at the points one more time, though. Brophy was atop them. He's not going to be when we leave today. Christopher is also out of the race, and as is Tim Doyle. So Joe Branch right now, as it stands, is going to be doing quite well if he can finish a little bit better than he's doing. He's running 15th right now. Henry Bennett, I think as it stands, would probably be your points leader if this race were to end right now.
Yeah, he's only 5 points in behind Joe Branch, and they're separated by quite a bit on the track, with Henry Bennett running up in 4th, Joe Branch running in 15th as they run. So, yeah, he would be most likely to inherit the points lead, and I'm sure he's going to do the best he can to run away with this, because Adam Blocker struggled last week at Homestead in a double points race. He's currently 23rd in the points, so I'm sure he's going to try to do as much as he can to get ahead of his teammate in the points as they go, because obviously Adam, defending champion for this series, and there was a reason why he was, because he absolutely dominated last season.
Field rolls through turns 1 and 2, and it's Blocker, Kinsella, Lichtenberg, Bennett, Kraus your top 5, then Cahoe, Lazier, Simpson, Flanagan, Shawan your top 10, then Levick, Thompson, Poole, Downing, Branch the rest of your top 15. You're watching Sim TV. Thank you for joining us. If you're on Facebook or Twitter, we want to thank you for jumping in with the Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Kokomo. Make sure you like and or follow their account, because you'll see many more of these events on Sundays for the rest of the spring. If you're on YouTube, thanks for joining us. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Check out the join button to join to support us at 3 different levels, and there's behind-the-scenes content, merch discounts, and more if you become a SimTV supporter. Here we go. Coming back to the green flag, lap number 99, 51 laps to go. It's Adam Blocker, reigning champ out front. Green flag back in the air.
Henry Bennett with a really, really poor start. Did not get going up.
Yeah, bad start for him. Chad Simpson's way wide in turn 1 and 2 as well. Philip Kraus trying to take advantage of Cahoe, and Cahoe's going to go around the outside, trying to take a spot away from him.
Nope, and Kraus is going to throw a big dive into turn 3. Cahoe going to give him the room, and Kraus is going to get a spot.
And now Lazier to the inside, and the other Spark VR machine, he'll take advantage of it and grab the spot. Flanagan up to 9th place. Shawan in 10th. Riley Thompson trying to irk his way back into it. And you see in the background that purple car, that's Joshua Chin. He almost was in the fence in turn 4, so he's still trying hard. I think he thinks he might be able to grab some spots. There's at least 3 out there that are already a lap down that he could steal if they have some more issues for the rest of the race. 50 laps to go here from New Hampshire.
Yeah, interesting seeing how this is going to go down, especially Philip Kraus, too. I think he's got the pace, just has not been really up there in position to really do anything with it. Yeah, especially with Henry Bennett getting a poor start, these guys are going to have to try to race back up to the top 3 that got an advantage.
Kraus, Lazier, Cahill, Simpson, Flanagan, Thompson running out the rest of your top 10, but Blocker, Kinsella, and Lichtenberg are your top 3, and Kinsella was 2/10 off Blocker last time through, but Lichtenberg again stuck in 3rd place. Needs another restart to be a factor in this one, I fear.
Yeah, I'm curious too if Kinsella's going to try to help out Blocker and keep Lichtenberg in behind, or both of them are going to chase down.
And speed's dropping from 180 plus down to about just over 130. A lot of delta between the end of the straightaway speed and the corner speed, which is not something you normally see in the Indy cars. They usually carry quite a bit of speed. I also see that the 96 of Caleb Weekly is in pit lane. I'm not sure if this was... Oh, this was a crash. Here's a look. And it was all by himself in 19th place and got out of turn 2 and slipped and got into the Armco hard on the inside wall. And he'll call it a night. Ray Kingsbury, his car is just puffed some smoke, so he's officially out of the night. Lazier and Cahill for 6th.
Yeah, they're going at it. Cahill out on the attack, Lazier defending.
Oh, real close to the fence out of turn 4, almost got into the concrete. And running out of laps to make passes happen as the tires fall off and the cars stretch out. Chad Simpson in 8th place tonight, started in exactly that spot as well. So he's another driver that hasn't really ventured far from his starting position and is trying to get himself in a position and make some passes before the end of the race.
Yeah, and really, at the beginning of Runnersburg is probably your best shot at making a pass, and it's only going to get lower from there. So definitely try to make the pass as well as you can while the tires are still fresh, because then you're going to be pretty much sitting in line for the rest of the run.
We started the night with 33 cars. We're down to 21 of them running on the racetrack, so a bit of attrition tonight. Joe Branch, 16th place. Adam Crane up to 15th in this number 6 car. Caution.
Caution out.
And I think, was that Andrew Wood that might have brought that one out?
I think so.
Yep, here's a look. Off into turn 3. And turns down. Was this too much throttle? Yeah, just spun up the rear tires and just kind of a lateral slide and kind of packed it into the wall in turn 4. Right on board. It just snaps on you so quick, not a whole lot you can do. Yeah. And for Wood, that might be the end of the night for him.
Yeah, indeed it is. He's going to end up finishing the night around 23rd.
So, I don't see a lot of people hitting pit lane. I see Philip Kraus coming. Nope, he's going to bail. I thought we'd see a lot more cars come to pit lane, but it looks like Joe Flanagan in 9th will be the first one to take it.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised that more guys in the back of the field are the guys going to be coming to the pits. I think really in the front, I think at this point, you got what you got. I really don't think the tires are going to do a whole lot in 40 laps.
You got what you got. So for Blocker, does he have enough for his first win of the season?
I think he does. I mean, you got a teammate right behind you. Again, I don't know how Kinsella is going to be around him. For the most part, those guys have played pretty nice with each other all of last season. So I don't see any reason to think otherwise, and I think they're going to do the best at the very least to keep Lichtenberg from breaking up their 1-2 party.
So I guess now's a good time for the story, because earlier I was writing my intro, and I was looking for synonyms for magic, because they call this place a Magic Mile. So I went on thesaurus.com, where all the good commentators go to look up, cheap synonyms that don't really fit the context. And I was looking up, again, synonyms for magical. Parapsychological. Is that not the most intense word that you've ever heard? I mean, parapsychological. I don't even know. I didn't even look up the actual definition of that because I know
I'm looking up.
a lot of times it's not actually a true synonym. But my goodness,
parapsychological.
Parapsychological. Try it again.
Parapsychology, that's what I was looking for, is a study of alleged psychic phenomena.
Okay, so
as in telepathy, precognition, clairvoyance, psychokinesis.
Okay, so it's not so much magic as it is like voodoo, kinda. You know what I'm saying? You get where I'm going with that, right? That's kind of, I mean, it's kind of the context that you'd use it in, right? The voodoo doll is parapsychological.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, it's pretty much along those lines.
Someone's got to know that word and use it in a usable context in the chat. But I don't.
There's a parapsychologist.
Now, what does that person do?
Studies alleged psychic phenomena, I imagine.
How did you study that?
I don't know. There's books on it.
Like, do you just go visit like
There's a lot of books on it.
Do you like try to find like witch huts or something? I don't know. Like what's the process? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe there's a book on it. I should read it. All right, coming back to the restart.
Books,
yeah, probably. Well, it'll be lap number 113 of 150, and it'll be about 14 minutes of racing if we go green to the end. Do you think we're gonna go green to the end, or do you think we'll get slowed up by a couple more yellows?
Honestly, I can't see us going green to the end. I mean, a good amount of our yellows have been due to guys just getting sideways and getting loose. Few have been to actual car-to-car contact. So I don't see why we cannot go green all the way to the end. We've only got 18 cars on the lead lap.
Coming back to the restart zone. Lap 113. Here we go. Blocker in control. Green flag back in the air. And look at Kraus already out of line on Bennett.
And Lichtenberg all out of line on Kinsella as well. So a lot of fighting for some of these guys trying to make the moves up through the field. Lichtenberg almost getting to Kinsella.
That was real tight out of turn 2, but they're going to keep it rolling. Now down into turn 3. Nose to tail. Kinsella hangs on to the spot for now. Behind him, Kraus is going to drive up the racetrack. Bennett has none of it. He'll throttle back up and hold on to 4th for now. Look at Lazier popping out of line on his teammate.
Yeah, he's taking advantage of this mistake from Kraus, trying to make a move to the inside. Not sure he's going to be able to make that car stick.
Tense moments on the restart here. Everyone's as close together as they're going to get. Cahill in the 57, riding in 7th place. Chad Simpson in 8th, Poole 9th. Riley Thompson breaking into the top 10. It's a hornet's nest behind him, though. Flanagan, Levick, everyone's scattered all over the racetrack in turn 4.
Yeah, and again, this is where you're going to get most of your spots here on this restart.
It is a whole mess of cars. Conglomeration of racing machinery out of turn 2. Thompson trying to hang on to his top 10 spot. John Downing trying to throttle up and get to the outside, but he's got Showen all over his rear ring trying to steal some downforce.
Yeah, these guys are really close together. If one driver makes a mistake, you take out a lot of them. Showen to the inside of one of the safety cars.
Oh, that was real tight. That's Downing. Nose to tail, 1, 2, 3. Showen goes for the middle of the racetrack that time. Downing lets him have it. Again, it's really tricky to complete a pass on the bottom, so I think Downing is okay giving Showen the inside groove because he's going to defend from the outside. Oh, man, I hear slipping and sliding in the background. It's Adam Crane up and into the wall at the exit of turn 2. I hear more. Clark Archer is also spun out with some damage, a lot of damage on the 29.
Yeah, he got involved with Joe Branch. Oh, and Dan Leanch as well.
Dan Ench, does Joe Branch have any damage? It doesn't appear so. Maybe a slight crinkle on that front wing. Go back. The first car we saw around was Adam Crane in the 6. And let's go back and see exactly how this happened. We'll ride from up above. Oh, he did get turned, I think. Oh, yeah. He got sent around, and then Dan Lee Ench kind of drives into this mix, but it was Clark Archer that kind of got the worst of that end of the deal. He got turned off of Joe Branch's nose, and down the racetrack he goes, and that was where Ench picked up his damage. more cars going to hit pit lane, and one of them, surprisingly, Finian Brendan Lichtenberg. Do you like that call or not?
I mean, I don't know. Like, how many people have followed him in?
Not a lot. I mean,
Really?
I see Cahoe back there. I see a couple of the Sadie cars, but that's it.
He's gonna have 30 laps, which I mean, I might be enough time to get him more or less back to where he was. But you have to consider the fact, as far as winning the race is concerned, he's not only gotta, drive through to get back up to where he was. He's gotta also try to pass the guys he was racing with. So within 30 laps, I don't really think that's doable. And I at this point, I really don't agree with coming down to the pit road unless you have to fix damage or something.
8 cautions so far tonight for 27 laps. 4 lead changes at the front of the field, mostly between the 1 and the 93 of Joshua Chin, who's still out here rolling, trying to get as many points as he can. And I love this, Finian. Even if your night doesn't go the way you need it to, stay out there, try to get some spots. He's up to 20th. That could have been a lot worse tonight. So he's still 4 laps down, and this is not exactly where he wanted to be. But all things considered, it could be worse. Chad Simpson in 6th. John Poole, we talked about him early in the night, about how he was kind of taking his time. 22nd to 7th in his Splash and Go Graphics IR18.
Yep. Slow and steady wins the race. It doesn't matter where you are in the middle of the race, more matters where you are at the end. And here he is at the front in contention to maybe not win the race, but definitely get a solid top 5.
Or a top 10 even would be a good night tonight. And one last look at our point standings as the sun comes out for the first time in a while. And we're going to see a big shakeup in the standings. And Chad Simpson, who's riding in 6th, was 9th in the standings. So if he finishes here, this could be a driver that's in the top 3 in points. Philip Kraus as well. If he finishes 4th, he'll almost certainly be in the conversation. Should be 1 to green this time by, and the lights in the pace car will extinguish. Re-rack them, restack them, maybe one last time.
It's going to be interesting here. I'm keeping my eyes on Philip Kraus. You've seen him be pretty aggressive here. He's gotten past some of the 3 best cars in the field ahead of him. Going to be restarting in 4th. I'm curious what he's going to be up to in his car.
Got 121 laps down of 150, so it'll be 28 to go on the restart. Actually, 29 to go, rather, on the restart. So 29 laps to go here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Kokomo Elite Series. And in just a moment, the starter, who's got the yellow flag in hand, is going to exchange it for the green. Blocker in command and control of the field. He's got about 20 hungry drivers behind him trying to get themselves a victory and hoping it gets chaotic here. Green flag back in the air, lap number 122 from New Hampshire. Riley Thompson to the inside of John Poole in turn 3. That's Chad Simpson. He's trying to grab a spot from as well. And on the bottom of the racetrack, you might be able to make that move stick. Drag race down the front stretch.
Yeah, John Poole got checked up by Chad Simpson on the restart out of turn 2, and that allowed Thompson to get this move to the inside. Thompson still racing with Poole side by side, but Poole's going to get a nice run off of 2.
And Shawan's actually going to give him a little bit of an arrow shove down the back straightaway as he goes to the outside lane. You see Joe Flanagan, another orange and blue car, trying to size up. Look at Shawan trying to make a hard left and cross over Riley Thompson. He's going to slot himself in line as Flanagan comes up the inside, so Poole going backwards very quickly as some others advance their positions. Up in front, though, 1/10 of a second separating Blocker and Kinsella for the lead of this race with only 25 laps to go at the line.
Yeah, it looks like these guys are going to start going at it. I think the teammates are off at the moment. They've gone so far being nice to each other now. It's about racing for the win here. I think Kinsella sees a chance to take the lead.
He's all over Blocker for the top spot. Kinsella had so many good runs last season, but was never able to turn it in to a race victory, at least not when it mattered. And trying to set up a pass for the win.
Oh, down spinning off of turn 2 down towards the inside. He's going to keep it going. We remain green.
Yeah, so Shawan loose out of turn 2. Did he get any help? Let's look from up above here. It was on the inside of Riley Thompson. Checked up a little bit, kind of was offline and throttled back up and just gets loose. slides back to 16th. For third place, Kraus all over Bennett.
He's been able to get to Bennett's inside, but other than that, hasn't really been able to make an opportunity.
Kehoe and Levick in a fight, including John Poole. This is for a top 10 position. Clouds have come over the speedway. It's very dark out. Track temperature is likely going to drop for the last couple minutes of this race. And they're going to make things very interesting.
And especially the drivers that can react to this change with these cooler conditions to try to make something happen here, especially the guys running that inside line.
Big scramble off of turn 2.
Brent Lichtenberg off into the wall.
Kehoe down to the inside. Oh, and you'll see the turn issue on the 10. He's slipping down the order very quickly. He's got major damage to that car. Oh, contact. The two Sadie teammates get together. Branch scatters, but the 10, a rolling roadblock out of turn 4 as he's nursing that damaged car. You mentioned how hard he hit the fence, Finney. That is not insignificant damage. The right side of that car completely destroyed, even the tub underneath.
And you can again tell just by the way he's driving that thing here, that thing has significant damage, and I think he's just trying to nurse it home these last 20 laps.
Yeah, the Sadie teammates almost got together as well. Now he's got Joe Branch fighting back up inside the top 15 for position. Meanwhile, out front, nobody's touching. Adam Blocker Kinsella's fight has dwindled. Henry Bennett for third, though. He's still got Philip Kraus hounding him.
Yeah, Kraus, he's not been able to get rid of Kraus. Kraus has been hounding him for the last few restarts. And Bennett's been able to keep him at bay, but again, we're running out of laps here, and drivers are getting desperate.
20 laps to go from New Hampshire for the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series. And some battles have fizzled, but others are just heating up. Downing, Branch, Lichtenberg, 13th, 14th, 15th. Although Lichtenberg is still struggling badly with the damage that he just received.
Yeah, looking at this battle between Rally Top, Joe Fighting, and Chad Simpson, these guys have been running in behind each other really closely.
Simpson running in 6th, Lazier up in 5th. The highest running Spark VR car is Philip Kraus again this week. Last week he put on a heck of a show being the new member to the team. Runs 4th right now. And is number 19 still trying to get 3rd place away from Bennett, but can't find a way around him.
And leading that Spark VR charge with Flynn Lazier in 5th and Simpson in 6th. But yeah, I think, I'm not sure he's really going to be able to find a way around Bennett. I think he's going to be stuck behind him the rest of this race.
Not a whole lot you can do either. I mean, these cars we saw are so on edge, with drivers just kind of having the rear end step out. So you can only really make these cars turn so much before they become unstable. But one driver that looks so super stable right now is our outgoing champion. And I don't think it would be any surprise that he'd get a victory this season, Finian, but he's starting off early. And tonight he has led 65 laps, which will be the most of anybody. And he's only going to be 15 laps away from securing his first win of the season.
I've been watching Philip Kraus here. He's still not giving up this fight. I saw him going into turn 3. He was almost drifting to get this thing to the inside lane. Here he goes, big time on Henry Bennett.
And trying to get to the inside, he's there alongside on the back straightaway. Side pod to side pod into turn 3, and looks like he'll have it. What a pass for Philip Kraus.
And he muscled his way into that inside lane. Fantastic job out of him. Thought he wasn't going to be able to do it. Well, prove me wrong, and he's going to be up in 3rd. Meanwhile, behind, it's getting dicey between Flanagan and Chad Simpson.
And they're side by side off into turn 3 as well, and it looks like Flanagan's going to make his way on through and complete the pass on Simpson. Simpson will cross over, try to grab it back at the exit of turn 4.
Yeah, not enough of a move that he got the slot in behind Flanagan.
Brendan Lichtenberg, he's pulled out down into pit lane here, Finian, and Gonna get that damage repaired and drop all the way down to 16th, maybe even 17th if Dan Ench can get around him. So not the night he wanted after really having a good start to the night. Was running up inside the top 5, got some damage, and here he is now 16th with only 12 laps to go.
Yeah, it had a top 5 car too, but that puddle, I think the tires on pit road, I think that kind of backfired on him, putting him back in traffic.
10 laps to go next time by. It's Blocker in command of this race. Kinsella in second. He's running a little bit quicker when he's outside of the draft of Adam Blocker, outside of the aero influence of that lead car, but I just don't think that he's got anything for him once he gets anywhere near the 1 car, and it's just the challenges of this kind of racetrack.
Yeah, it really is, the problem. You can run fine by yourself, you can run faster than the guy ahead of you by yourself, but as you're trying to get closer and closer to him, and you're starting to run slower and slower, and you just find that bubble of dirt air that you just really can't overcome. I started to put my direction towards the mirror because Kraus is closing in.
Yeah, Kraus in the number 19 is close within 7/10 of Kinsella.
Yeah, and he ran 4/10 of a second faster than Kinsella last up through, so he is really putting pressure on this 14 car.
And riding on board with the number 19. It's not going to be enough time to go up there and run down the leader, but he could get second place. 8 laps to go for the front 3. A bit of understeer now. Kraus has gotten to the back of the 14's aero wash, and I think that slowed a little bit of his progress.
Yeah, this is going to be where he's going to have to try to readapt and strategize a little bit here, trying to find a winner on Kinsella where he can build up a run. He's starting to run out of laps.
7 laps to go. Count them down. Bennett in 4th, Lazier in 5th. It's chaos right now for that spot back there as Kehoe takes a dive to the inside of Riley Thompson, and Chad Simpson can't complete both those passes. Might get one, but Thompson fights back on the outside.
Meanwhile, back with Kraus and Kinsella. Kraus made up a lot of time through one of the corners, but he's backed off for now.
Yeah, he's there. I just don't know if he can make that pass complete. 6 laps to go. He's so close, Finney. He's much quicker than the 14, but just nowhere to go.
And really just trying to build up the run is going to be really big here. And, and actually we've got a car pulling up the pits in Lichtenberg. Again coming into the pits.
Yeah, he's going to lose even more spots. He's 17th. Could be scored as low as 19th by the end of this thing. But less than 5 laps to go. Kehoe and Flanagan trading spots now. This is for 6th. Flanagan way deep into the corner. He's up into the wall in turn 3 and 4. Last ditch effort to try to get a run back to get the 57 spot. Once more, can't do it.
Yeah, looks like that didn't hurt him a lot. Just a little bit of a tap with the wall.
Well, tap with the wall isn't something you really want to do in an open wheel car, but if he's going to make it work, he made it work. But Kinsella Kraus for second. Blocker gets the 3 to go signal from the driver, or from the official up top, the flag stand there, and 3 miles left in this race. And it's just that there's no one near the front 3 right now, Finney. They've just absolutely detonating everybody when it comes to tonight in the closing moments of this one.
Yeah, Kraus, too, has done a fantastic job. He's battled a lot today. He's probably made one of the most passes out of anyone in this field. He's cut through a lot of guys, trying to make one more happen.
For Adam Blocker, last season it was a multi-win season, and capped it off with a victory at Road America where he solidified his championship run. He was a full race ahead of everyone in the points when it came to the last race, but tonight he'll see the white flag in the 2nd round of the season. And right back to his winning ways. It didn't take him long. Even though there were some drivers like the 93 that probably could have dethroned him tonight, trouble hit them earlier. And for Adam Blocker, rolling through turns 3 and 4, he'll make it back to the checkers. Adam Blocker wins at New Hampshire.
Yeah, fantastic job for him. Unfortunately, Kraus did everything he could. Couldn't get past a Kinsella for second. He'll have to settle for 3rd place. And in behind them, Henry Bennett in 4th. And Chris Kehoe rounding out your top 5.
Blocker gets it done in New Hampshire. The magic mile is magic for the number 1. Well, the rich get richer, Finian. He's really good, and tonight he's going to celebrate with another trophy and a celebration. And a really good burnout, too, I must add.
Well, he's had a lot of practice.
He sure has. Here's a look at your race results. 8 cautions tonight for a total of 32 laps. 150 laps that we ran this evening with 4 lead changes. Walker, Kinsella, Kraus, Bennett, Cahill, your top 5. Oh, all the way down at the tail end of the field, though. Ray Kingsbury getting wrecked out again. 2nd week in a row, not the way he wanted to start his season. Tim Doyle out 96 laps before the end of the race. Andreas Ike, Chris Stouffer, and Simon Bryan, all drivers that we'd expect to run top 15, top 10, out early in this one. In just a moment, we're going to jump to break. We'll be back in a moment with your race winner and more, so stay with us. We'll be right back. Here's a word from our sponsor.
My father's father had 2 brothers and a sister. His older sister, Hazel, had married a man named Jim Yunker, and he was involved in the bottling business early on, as early as 1906 in Indianapolis, and he sold flavors. He would have had grape, cream soda, blood orange, ginger ale. In 1915, he got the franchise for Coca-Cola in Indianapolis. So then we fast forward 20 years later to 1935, Jim Yunker approached my grandfather and his 2 brothers and said the franchises in Kokomo, Logansport, and Peru are available for sale, and you guys want this. Trust me, you want to get in the Coca-Cola business.
Welcome back live to Sim TV. We're here now with our 3rd place finisher, Philip Kraus, the new driver to the Spark VR team. And after last week, Philip, you had a really good run out there. Tonight, you're going to come home in 3rd podium at New Hampshire. Walk us through tonight and your chase of Andrew Kinsella in those closing laps.
Honestly, that race was crazy. The dirty air was always playing a big factor. I couldn't make a move on Bennett for the longest time. I was stuck behind him. Anytime I thought I had a chance, I just pushed off the bottom because my car only liked the second groove up. And I kept on trying to force him to have to run the bottom, and I could sneak around his outside, and it wouldn't work. So I think I got stuck behind him too long. And by the time I had even gotten up to Andrew, my tires were dead.
So you talk about a track like New Hampshire. These short ovals always tend to be pretty challenging to pass at. How much do you do in the car over the course of the night to try to get it to pass better, or is it just kind of physics and you're just trying to drive around it?
Oh, you are beating up the weight jacker. I think I was changing the weight jacker probably every 2 laps minimum, especially behind people. In clean air, you don't change it as much. You still change it go from about -20 to about +3. But in dirty air, I was almost up to +10, just trying to get a bite. It wasn't working that well still.
This early in
Didn't really
the,
mess.
I was gonna say this early in the season, you've had 2 really solid runs. Are you already considering yourself a championship contender, or is it too early to know yet?
I mean, I haven't ran any road course races with these guys yet, so that's going to be really the deciding factor because I know some people are really strong there. So, and I haven't ran many oval races in these Indy cars, so still getting used to the big ovals a lot. Aero push, it's not my forte really.
All right, Philip. Hey, nice job tonight. 3rd place in the number 19 Spark VR machine. We look forward to talking to you next round.
Yep, thank you.
Absolutely. Moving on now to our 2nd place finisher. It's Andrew Kinsella tonight, the driver of the number 14. In the closing laps, he had Kraus all over your rear wing, but were able to hang on. Walk us through the night and what you need to go get that number 1 car.
I don't think I could have caught Adam, to be quite honest. We were on very similar sets. I had a little bit looser car than he did, which just after that last restart allowed me to almost get beside him. And if I'd gotten beside him, I might have been able to clear him. So that would have probably been my only shot at it. But yeah, other than that, I think the key here was just to play this pit strategy right in the early going and just make sure that you were up front and near clean air and able to put in the laps. And then once we knew we were on the right pit strategy and minimum, Josh would have had the same number of stops at us, if not one more. We were sort of full rich going good, and we didn't have the fastest car, I don't think, today. I think Phil was a little bit faster than us. I think Josh was faster than us, but the power slide cars handled well out there, and I think it was a good race overall for both of us. 1-2 finish, which is nice, and definitely helps me shake off the disappointment from Homestead.
All right, Andrew. Hey, thanks for talking to us. Nice run tonight, and we'll see you next round.
Thanks, Scott.
Absolutely. Our reigning champion, Adam Blocker, comes into the night, and after a disappointing round at New Hampshire, Adam, you come in here, and after not getting the win last week, you come in here and immediately go right back to your winning ways. You won the championship last season, and in round 2, you get your first win of the season. Can you repeat this season, or is it too early to tell?
I mean, yeah, it's obviously early, and losing points at the Dope Points race definitely didn't help, but yeah, win here is pretty big for the points, and I think we're going to be strong at all the short tracks and road courses. So that's like 7 out of the 12 races. So definitely think we have a good shot, both me and Henry and Andrew. So yeah.
Looking ahead at the rest of the schedule, I know we have a couple off weeks here, but how concerned are you about the upcoming races, and is there any concerns at all, or do you feel pretty comfortable at the places we're going?
I mean, Indy Road, haven't raced there in a while, but it's a road course, so it should be fine. And actually, I mean, I like a lot of the ovals coming up because like Motegi is kind of unique because you have to even though it's a 1.5 mile level, you have to brake in this car. So kind of race is weird. As long as we get a hot track there, it should be a good race. And Milwaukee is pretty similar to New Hampshire, so in terms of setup and kind of how it drives. So I think Power Slide was 1-2-4 here, so it should be similar there. Obviously, we got a little bit of luck tonight with Josh dropping out or having trouble, iRacing glitch. So I think he would have won without that. And there were some other guys like Philip Kraus. So they were also strong. We just beat him on strategy. So yeah.
Adam, congratulations on another victory for you to add to the wins column of your career here in the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series. Congratulations. We'll see you at the next round.
Yeah, see you guys. Just thanks to Powerslide for all the work we do, and thanks to admins for putting on.
All right, Adam, have a good night. We'll see you later.
Yeah, see you.
All right, that'll do it for our broadcast tonight here. If you joined us on Twitter or Facebook, make sure you drop a like or hit the follow button to catch all the rest of the rounds of the season on the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Facebook and Twitter. If you're following us on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we appreciate your support. We'll be next live on Tuesday night on speed51.com/elite modified tour for the continuation of of that series with Speed 51. And then right after at 9 o'clock right here on Sim TV, you'll find the Grid Life iRacers season finale from Road America, Mustangs Crowd Control Cup. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you later. Have a good night.